Hi, it's Kylie Koo. Welcome to my studio. So I'm doing something a little bit different today. Today I'm doing a tag event and it's #perfectartpalette, and the idea came from Gina Ahrens, and I'll link her channel below. And this has been inspired by YouTube beauty gurus, that's not easy to say, doing their perfect palette tag. So there's 8 questions that I'm going to go through, and yeah, let's take it away. So the first question is, what is your favourite must-have mark making tool? Well, I actually like to use my fingers for making marks and painting and that, but I've got these anyway, so I think beyond that, what I would really go for are paintbrushes. You know, there are so many mark making tools, but this is not my complete set, but you know, they're in a variety of price ranges, some very cheap, some a little bit more expensive, and quite nice to have a selection of them. So yeah, these would definitely be my favourite. Now question 2 is, which thing can you not live without in your emergency/travel art bag? Well, for me it would probably be Posca pens, assuming that I've got all the other basics. So I have here a black one and a white one. If I had to choose just between the two, then it would definitely be the white Posca. This one is a 0.7mm, but I also quite like the one which is the same size as this, which is, oh, that's a different type of Posca than I thought. There we go, I just picked this up the other day. I didn't realise this is actually a bullet shaped one. 0.9 to 1.3. So anyway, white Posca in this size or the one that's just above that. Really like to have them with me all the time. So question 3 is, what is your favourite palette for skin tone? Well, I just thought I'd show you a few examples here, and you'll see that actually on a lot of times I don't actually use a particular palette. I tend to draw into the colour that I have here, and this is actually my little journal that I use a lot of old paint in. You know, so if I have anything to scrape off, I'll put it into here. So you can see that I sometimes use quite dark colours. Sometimes I just draw into what's there. Again, that was just minimal paint on the background and just using a Sharpie. All the way through to this, which again, it was just some excess paint and I saw a face in there and just did that. So that was that kind of book. In others, you'll see again I've used quite different colours. The kind of blue turquoise backgrounds coming through. I quite like to see that, have that coming through. I can't remember all the colours I've used in this now, but I quite like the shades there. In this one, again, using a lot of the colours that are actually in the background, so you'll see that I've even brought in purples here, and quite a different one here. So if I had to pick some colours that I would always have on hand for skin tones, then it would be probably Portrait Pink, because that for me acts as quite a good base. You can take it lighter, you can take it darker. Usually I would have a raw umber and a burnt umber. From these I think you can make a range of skin tones, and you know, you can get your light and shade. The other one that I'm just trying out just now is Naples Yellow. I like the way that it looks, so perhaps not conventional, but yeah, but as I say, I like to use really a lot of the colour that's on the page itself. So next question. So question 4 is, what is your favourite will grab if the house is on fire art product or supply? Well, honestly, if the house was on fire, I'd just be about getting out of here. If I could save something, it would probably be my art easel, because that was a gift, and maybe my lamp. All my individual products, art supply products together are valuable, but those two as individual pieces are valuable, as is this camera that I'm using. I'd probably actually try and grab my artwork and my art journals more than anything, because those are the sort of things that can't actually be replaced. Products and supplies can be replaced, but the art in those journals can't be. But at the end of the day, I'm not that precious about them. So the next question is, what one art supply, product or tool in your stash would you recommend to a friend? Well, assuming that said friend had basic products like paints, like paint brushes, then the one thing I would definitely recommend is getting a heat tool. Now, up until a couple of days ago, I've used an old hairdryer as a heat tool, but I actually purchased this a couple of days ago. I think it was £10. It's getting all messed up already, but that doesn't matter. £10, which I think at kind of today's rates will be probably around $13. You can probably get them cheaper in the US. I suspect in Europe it's probably much of the same price as here in the UK, but certainly unless you live somewhere that's very warm and your work dries quickly, then to me this is almost an essential. That or an old hairdryer. So, next question. So question 6 is, what is your favourite budget-friendly art supply? Well, taking art supply in the broadest sense, if you've watched my channel before, like to use a lot of products from recycling. So, bubble wrap, which I know lots of artists use, tissue, these just came in something yesterday, yoghurt pots for stamping, cardboard rolls, cereal boxes, envelopes that come in the mail. So these are definitely budget friendly because they come really at no direct cost in terms of art wise. And I have a number of projects on eco art, eco journaling, and I'll leave a link somewhere above, around about there I think, if you'd like to take a look at those. If we're talking though about specific art supplies, then I was gifted a while back a set of Daler Rowney graduate acrylics. So they're quite small tubes, 22 millilitres, which is 0.74 of a US fluid ounce, and I can't remember how many came in a pack, quite a number. But if it was somebody new to art, if you're new to art and you're not quite sure what colours you like, this was such a great set. I'm not saying that it was inexpensive, but in terms of what you get, in terms of the number of tubes and the range of colours, they're really good for just getting you started and giving you a good feel for what colours you like to work with, I guess. If it was watercolours, then this set. Now I can't remember the name of the company. I think it could have been, I'm just looking at the back. No, I think it was an American company. Could be Artwork or something like that, I'm not certain, but Hobbycraft here in the UK got these in, and I decided that because I didn't have a lot of watercolours that this would be quite a good set. I've had it for a little while now, and I think at the time this cost £5, which would be about in US $6.50 I guess. But again, you probably get it there cheaper, A, because it was an American company, and B, just because I think craft supplies, art supplies are generally that bit cheaper there. But if I had to pick between the two, I would go for acrylics, just because I tend to use acrylics more, but certainly in terms of watercolours, I thought this was a very good price. So, question 7 is, if you could pick anything in the world to get for Christmas and add to your art stash, what would it be? That I think is a really difficult one. funnily enough, I was in the art and craft shop a couple of days ago, and I was actually looking at sewing machines. Now, I don't sew, but I have seen people use them for tags and that type of thing. And I did say to the woman that served me that I might just put one of them on my Christmas list this year. But if we're talking more adding to the art stash rather than that wider art and crafts, then I don't know, it's really difficult, but maybe some acrylics by Golden, which again I think are quite pricey here in the UK, probably cheaper in the US, but yeah, acrylics by Golden, or maybe some of the Liquitex brand, something like that. So the final question, question 8, is if you could spend 2 hours with anyone, dead or alive, and make art with them, who would that be? So I'm taking that to be somebody that actually participates in art as well. So really and truly, if I could spend time, 2 hours with anyone, I think there are a number of friends that I've met through YouTube and through Facebook groups who it'd be great to sit down with for a couple of hours and just make art. I don't want to name particular names because there's a few, and if I named them all, inevitably I'd miss one out, so I'm not going to start listing names, but you know who you are, my friends, so yeah, I'd love to make art with you. If it was to pick somebody more famous, then yeah, of course, somebody like Georgia O'Keeffe, Frida Kahlo. Really difficult to pick. I would probably opt for Van Gogh though, because I've loved his art since always, I think. So yeah, so that's it. Those were the 8 questions for #PerfectArtPalette. I've left the questions in the description box below, so I guess anybody can join in and become part of the tag. But I hope you've enjoyed this. Please give it the thumbs up if you have enjoyed it, and if you're not already a subscriber, then please subscribe. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.